I've been wanting to make one of these farmhouse egg wreaths for a few years, but just never really found the right kind of like supplies that I wanted to use. Well, I was cleaning up my Easter things and going through some of my spring supplies. I ran across these black and white eggs that I had in my stash for a few years, and I thought, oh, I'll make a farmhouse egg wreath. So just like so many of our viewers and followers here on YouTube, that's what I did because I really didn't have an idea of where to begin. So I went to YouTube and searched Dollar Tree egg wreath, and so one video popped up. I know that this is not an original idea. There are so many creators that have done this in very different variants of it, and so I'm not sure who's the one who gets the credit, but I am going to share where I got the inspiration. I found a video of how to put this together over at Hollie Hobbies, and so I am going to link that video in the description because I watched her video and it gave me the information I need to create my wreath here. So guys, what I am using is some paper mache eggs, or like foam eggs from Hobby Lobby, and also different things, 2 of those wire egg forms from Dollar Tree. I'm also going to use some Spanish moss. Now that's from Hobby Lobby, and it is got like green and also the gray Spanish moss in the same package. I'm also going to be using some wire from Hobby Lobby and some other things that I will share as I go along the way. Now I wanted to make a center sign for my wreath because this is more for a kitchen or a farmhouse that likes farm animals, because that is very popular now. I pulled out my Farm Fresh butt nuggets stencil from Magnolia Design Co. And so I know that this stencil right here is currently retired, but if you're interested in looking for a different one, there are a couple of other stencils like this that are available over at Magnolia Design Co. I am a creator and I do use their products, and so I will have my shop listed in the description box below for you to check it out. So what I did is the surface is an egg, and that is from the Dollar Tree, and it is already painted white, kind of like distressed white, and kind of in the farmhouse. It came like that, so I didn't have to paint it or anything like that. And so what I did is take that Magnolia Design Co. stencil, and once I found the placement, then I went ahead and took my coal black chalk paint, and then I just did the stencil. And what I'm doing is just pulling it up very carefully so that it doesn't like tear my stencil. These are silk screen stencils, and so the coal black paste is specially formulated for this, and so it goes through there and just makes a really, really nice impression. So while my stencil is drying, I'm going to work on my form. So I have the Spanish moss here that I got from Hobby Lobby. It has the mixture of green and the gray Spanish moss in it, and so I'm just pulling out pieces of that. This is very messy, but I'm okay with the mess. So what I did is I just got it to the point where I need to add my eggs. And again, I got these farmhouse egg looking things from Hobby Lobby, so I'm just positioning them, trying to make them where they are all spaced out evenly. And so once I get the placement of what I wanted, I had some other brown paper mache eggs just on hand, just to see maybe if I needed to add a bit more, but this is the one package of eggs that I had, and so I just spaced them out and they all worked out great. So what I do is once I get the placement, then I put my top frame on top of it. Then I have some jute string, and then I'm going to start tying it off in different places just to hold my wire so that I can put on my chicken wire to wrap around it to give me the permanent hold that I want for my farmhouse wreath. And so once I continue to just put on this jute string, then I will get my chicken wire. Now this is a silver wire and I have had it on hand for a while. Most likely I would almost bet that it came from Hobby Lobby in their ribbon section. And so I only needed this one roll of this silver chicken wire to wrap around this wreath. So I just start in a place and I just start wrapping it around kind of at an angle so that I didn't like do it straight on, but I did it at an angle so that it would kind of overlap a bit. And I just took my time and just wrapped it around. And once I got to the end, then what I did is it was a little sharp on that edge. So I cut off a piece of that. Then I just took some silver wire that I had on hand and then just secured it to the actual egg frame so that it would all be nice and secure. Later on, I'm not worried about any of this sticking out or anything, but later on when I put the sign on, I am going to be putting on some felt to make sure that my sign and everything is secure, and so that when this is hanging on a wall or a door or something like that, that it doesn't scratch the customers or my person that I'm going to give this to. It doesn't scratch their wall. Now that my sign is dry, I want to go ahead and add a bit of shading. So I just have a Q-tip and my vintage photo distress ink, and I was just using that Q-tip just to add a little bit of brown shading. And I don't know if it was just the Q-tips or what, but I just got better at just using my little finger dauber. These are what I like to use. And then what I did is to seal it, I have this polyacrylic sealer and then also some glitter. I know it doesn't show up on camera, but I could see it in the real light. And so I just sprayed a little bit of that polyacrylic, added a little bit of glitter so that it would sparkle a bit. So what I'm doing here is I have just some black flexible wire. These are what I have on hand, and I'm just wrapping it around just to give it an extra farmhouse look. I know that on video you can't really see it, but I can see it in real time. And so what I do is I just wrap that around, and when I get to the end, I just kind of secure it to the egg frame, and it's just a little extra that I decided to do just for the farmhouse look. I wanted to do something a little bit different for my hanger. So I have this 1/2-inch black and white buffalo plaid ribbon from Hobby Lobby. It looks like it's from the fall season. I've had on hand, had it in my stash. And so I just decided to use it. And so I measured that out before I glued on my sign because I wanted my ribbon to be, through the back. And so I'm just using my Beacon Fabri-Tac glue as well as hot glue, just kind of tacking it on, just something for it to kind of bind to, because I'm going to be gluing on some felt around the back of my sign, and it's also going to be glued to the frame so that I can have my sign secure on the entire back. And so I wasn't worried about it too much. I just kind of put just dots of hot glue on there just like that. So I have this tan felt got at Hobby Lobby, and just cut pieces of that around the egg and just hot glued that on there. And then also on the back of where my ribbon is, I'm just going to be including that on the back of that, because then that kind of holds that ribbon there in place as well. Now for the hanger, what I'm using is, or what I did is I have some black rickrack, and I'm just going to make a little loop, and then at the top of that ribbon. I just glue that together. I take an extra piece of black and white ribbon and then just kind of finish that off so that it's all holding together. And this wreath is not heavy, but I don't want it to pull out. And so I want to make sure that it looks really nice and finished for this entire for the greenery swag at the top of my wreath. I just have this lambs here as well as some other white flowers with some little berries on it. I have had this in my stash, and so I decided to use it for my wreath. And so I am just positioning it the way that I want. Now, to attach it all together, I'm just going to use some floral tape that I get in the, I think I got this one actually at Dollar Tree. And so but you can get floral tape anywhere, like in any kind of like flowers and stuff are sold. And so I like to use this to kind of hold my stuff together until I can wire it to the actual wreath itself. And so once I get to that point, then I will wire it to the wreath frame. And so once I get my tape on there, I kind of it's really thin and it just kind of wraps on, it kind of sticks to itself. And so then once I get my garland, then I want to go ahead and start on my bow. So I have this Farmhouse burlap with the black and white buffalo check on the edges. This actual ribbon came from Hobby Lobby in the Christmas section. And so I've had it on hand for several years because I love to use it. And so I'm just kind of figuring out the size I want for my bows. And so then, or my loops rather. And so I just make those. Then I just twist it in the middle when I am going to be doing the second loop. And so then I figure out how big I want it. Then I'm going to cut it off so that I can zip tie this together. And so I just have a black zip tie that I'm going to be using just to make this gather in the middle. Now, what I'm doing is to attach my bow to my swag, I just using a piece of wire, slipping it underneath that zip tie, and then I attach that to my garland or my swag, and then that's what I attach to the wreath frame so that it all looks nice and cohesive and looks really pretty. Now, I thought I was going to use some of that this burlap ribbon for the center, but I changed my mind and used that black and white kind of 1/2 inch ribbon. And so then I just made a little center for that, just cut off a piece of that and then glued it. But you really can't see it in the finished picture. And so what I did also is add just some wire to attach the garland or the swag to the egg frame. I did pull out some of my favorite fine excelsior it's kind of like the ivory or the white color. And I love that just to give it a little bit more of a whimsy. I attached it all together and I absolutely love the way that this farm fresh butt nuggets chicken farmhouse wreath turned out. So again, my purpose is just to share my idea of what I had. I know that I am not the original creator. There are tons of different tutorials here on YouTube as well as in the Facebook groups and Pinterest. If you just Google, do a Google search and search for them, many ideas will pop up. And I'm just absolutely, I just love the way that this turned out. Again, my stencil came from Magnolia Design Co. I will have my link in the description as well as the credit for the inspiration of where I got mine from. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a blessed day and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.